Welcome to the beginning of the podcast. I still think maybe we should think about fancy music. If we got fancy music, maybe we would get a sponsor. I know we haven't discussed that topic in quite a while, but maybe we need to bring it up again.
I have an idea in the works. It'll be
Okay.
here in winter time, but yeah, there's an idea in the works
An
So
idea for a sponsor or for music?
for an intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, fuck sponsors.
Well, apparently.
I uh I have a story of potentially the most the delivery that has without like a major incident, without like hitting hydro wires or something. This delivery went so awry yesterday. So we have a broker that works for us. He's a guy named Glenn. He's pretty new. Like he worked for us last year. He's been working for us a bit this year. He generally runs fill for us. That's usually what he does. But because all the other triaxles broke down on Friday, all five triaxles that we use regularly broke down on Friday in one day.
Nice.
Five trucks. Five trucks went down. So,
If
anyways,
there's a day for
Glenn's the
them
only.
to break down, would it not be a Friday
It should be a Friday. I agree. I agree.
rather than a Monday?
I I took it in stride. I was close to starting smoking again because I was
I
like,
didn't know you quit. You've been talking about ashtrays all week.
oh, I quit smoking like 15 years ago. Maybe it was 14. I don't know, a while ago. But I've been recently thinking about smoking. And on Friday, when all five trucks were broken down, I was like, how much longer do I actually want to exist, anyways? And I love smoking. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. The deterrent to smoking, my favorite thing in the whole world, is obviously you more than likely aren't going to live as long. I mean, there's always the argument for the guy that does 3 shots of rye and smokes 4 packs a day and lives to be 101. I'm not that guy. There ain't going to be having those 100-year celebration for me, especially if I'm packing 3 packs a day, smoking cigarettes. So, anyways, I made it through Friday. So the only person whose truck was repaired and back up uh, was Glenn. So Glenn went in as a lone soldier, and about halfway through the day, our client called us and asked if we could switch him from fill to deliveries because they were swamped on deliveries. So I assessed the situation, and Glenn's never done that before. He's never done that for them before. I said, okay, well, I think Glenn's ready, and Glenn felt like he was ready. So out Glenn went. He did his first delivery, and things went awesome. And on his second delivery, he arrived at the property, and there was a bunch of hydro wires that were in the way, and the guy wanted him to back into a really shitty space. So Glenn said, I don't think I can get the truck back in there. I think it's too wet. I think it looks soft. And the client of the people we were working for lost shit on Glenn and started screaming at him. And being that this is his first time doing deliveries, he did not want to have a bad reputation as someone who couldn't do what the clients wanted. So Glenn made the decision to back in to where the client wanted him to dump. And he promptly buried the truck deeper than the axles.
Ooh.
So he dumped off the load, couldn't get the truck out, called me. Cody was in the area, so Cody went down there, tried to get him out, but that wasn't happening. So then our client, or well, I guess Arndt, sent one of their trucks down. They couldn't get him out. He owns a second truck. He went and got it, couldn't get himself out. So this has been going on for hours now. This truck's buried. So he finally breaks down and says, I'm going to call a tow truck. Calls a tow truck. Tow truck shows up 2 hours later. This is now, let's say, 7 o'clock at night. This truck's been buried since 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're looking at about
Oh,
7 o'clock at night. Tow truck shows up. Guy pulls him out. They free up the truck. And as they free up the truck and the truck is rolling and everything is good, the main hydraulic line on the tow truck explodes and sends
hmm.
hydraulic fluid all over the road, everywhere. Huge amounts of hydraulic fluid. So being quick thinking, They jump into the back of the dump truck where there's still some soil remaining from the initial delivery that was supposed to take place at 2:00 in the afternoon. And they throw dirt all over the road to suck up the hydraulic fluid, which that's a good idea. Except that the Karen who lived across the street didn't think it was a good idea. So she called 911.
911.
And so the police, the fire department, the ambulances all arrived on scene for this hydraulic leak.
My
So
goodness.
initially, Glenn was sending me pictures of his truck stuck. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then Glenn was sending me pictures of him and the tow truck driver spreading dirt all over the road trying to stop the hydraulic fluid. And I thought, that's even worse, but it's worse than the truck being stuck. Then he started sending me pictures of the fire department and the police at the scene. And I thought, wow, this delivery has really gone awry. I'm not sure how much farther this delivery could go bad. So
So
And
who
that's-
pays for the delivery fee? Or is there extra billing because the client insisted that he go to a spot that the driver knew he shouldn't have went?
no, because the client then blames the driver. I was thinking about this whole scenario today, and just, because obviously I had to call dispatch and say, hey, just in case someone calls you guys about this truck that was stuck in this front lawn for 7 hours and then exploded a hydraulic line on the tow truck, and then someone called the cops and the fire department. Because if you see a leaking hydraulic line, that's a good use of our emergency services time. I just want to put that out to all the podcast listeners. Whenever you see a leaking hydraulic line, immediately call 911, because that's what they need to be out there doing, spreading Absorbol.
Spill kit.
Spill kit.
Get your
Absorbol.
spill kit out. Your sawdust.
I was thinking about this today, and one of the things in my life that I've gotten more advice. There's two things in my life that I've gotten a massive amount of advice about that the general population knows nothing about, and their advice is shit. But they think they're experts. And the first thing in my life that people have given me an insane amount of advice about, when they don't know fuck all about it, is being a goaltender in hockey. Many people who've never done it often want to come up to you and say, you shouldn't go down so much, or you shouldn't play the puck like that, or you should be pushing it to the like, fuck off. You've never done it. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, just literally shut your fucking mouth and go somewhere else. That's probably the number one thing in my life that I've gotten advice about from people who fucking know nothing. The number two thing I've gotten advice about from people who know nothing is driving a dump truck. Everybody on the planet thinks that they know how to drive a dump truck because when they were 2 years old, they had a Tonka toy with their mom and they ran it around. So these dump truck, you arrive on these people's houses or these job sites to do these deliveries, and people are like, oh, just put it there. Yeah, the truck doesn't really go there. Well, I don't know why it couldn't. Well, that's because you drive a Chevette. You fucking moron. Although if you're driving a Chevette, you probably had an ashtray, so you're winning. That's why you drive a Geo Metro. You fucking no one knows what a Geo Metro is because that car company only existed for 5 years. To pick another, you are driving a Pontiac Firefly. No one knows what a Pontiac Firefly is because Pontiac doesn't exist anymore. You're driving a Chevy Cobalt, you fucking moron. Maybe someone's heard of that. It amazes me every day that the trucks go out, that these people who know nothing about driving large trucks, that have no knowledge of what it takes to drive that truck or dump that truck, or how dangerous it is when the box is all the way in the air on a triaxle, and how easy it is to flip that truck over, tear down wires, or destroy trees. Or they always have endless advice for you, and they want to tell you what to do when they have zero experience doing any of it. And no person ever wants to listen to the driver, because every time you get out of a truck to talk to someone, they're like, oh, you're a stupid fucking dump truck driver. And then they give you advice, and then shitty stuff happens, and then they want you to do what they want, and then bullshit happens, and then when bullshit happens, they walk away and be like, "Wow, the driver backed in there. He should have known better. She should have known better. Why would she go in there?" Well, maybe because you were screaming and yelling and fucking carrying on like an idiot, and so they were like, I don't want to, everyone doesn't want to get screamed and yelled at. Anyways, it's just, I'm amazed at the insane, because we're looking at buying a new dump truck in the next couple weeks, brand new. And the thing that horrifies me the most about it is the best deal I've found on one is $283,000. That's the best deal I've found on a brand new dump truck. And what horrifies me the most is the level of disrespect it will receive from every single person who goes near it on a construction site.
Yeah.
People will drive their skid steers into the side of it. People will fucking load it with an excavator from 10 feet high. People will want to overload it and fuck it. Like the level of disrespect towards trucks in general, but dump trucks in particular, is another, especially when these things are 200. The best deal I could find is $283,000. The worst deal I found was $315,000. And how people treat them is disgusting in general. If it was someone else, if it was half of your house and I was like, "Hey man, I'm just going to spray paint it red." They're like, "Oh, that's half my house." I'm like, well, that's what the dump truck's worth, you stupid fuck.
It's true. You're not wrong. They are well priced. Well priced
They're
high. They're
insanely
expensive machines.
disrespected.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to drive with a truck that's insanely overweight, then you're a suck pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
You
want
get grief.
to drive it insanely overweight. My problem with overloading the bins isn't necessarily that the bin is overloaded, because when I pick it up, half of it's going to spill off the top back on the ground, and I'm not going to pick it up. My problem with overloading the bins, my biggest problem with overloading the bins, is you're putting the trucks overweight on the road. And what people don't realize about overloading the bins is if you overload that bin and my overweight truck goes through an intersection and fucking kills someone, if you don't think that they're not coming for the person and the person's insurance who loaded the bin, you're fucking crazy. Because they're not going to get enough money from me. And then the next question is going to be, who loaded that bin on that job site? And then they're coming after you, the person that overloaded the bin or overloaded the dump truck. Because they don't care. If you say, well, the driver took it, they're going to say, we don't care. You're going to pay, and you're going to pay, and you're going to pay, and you're going to pay. And that's proven in court. Ask gravel pits why they force you to bring tear sheets, why they force you to tear in and out, why if you are even a speck overweight, they make you dump off. Because so many gravel pits have been sued for so much money for overloaded trucks leaving their pit. So when you put dirt above the rails of anything, it's just as much your liability if something happens with that truck. But people don't give a fuck. It just amazes me all the time. I'm like, if you can't bid to do the job legally, get out of the fucking business. Like, honestly, like if you need to overload every bin that you get the fuck out of the business. You're obviously not good at it. You're not good at running your business. I've never had to overload a bin ever in order to make money. You guys have no opinion on this topic, or you're just staying silent because you
Wasn't
think it's going
the
to cause
last
a lot of
bin
shit?
overloaded by Paver King?
Not but well, yeah, but by okay, that was yeah.
But there's overloaded
I'm saying
for the bin and there's overloaded for the truck, right? Like you can have an undersized bin.
So that bin was 10 yards, a 10-yard bin. You couldn't possibly load it enough to put the truck over.
That's
On the flip side,
yeah.
That was also a subcontract. That also wasn't exactly my staff member. That was a subcontractor who, for whatever reason, thought that was okay.
Gotcha.
Even though it's not okay. It wasn't so that person was working for me, but indirectly as a sub. It wasn't one of my 5 staff members that loaded. None of them would load the bin like that.
Gotcha.
And I certainly would have brought another bin and still made money. I said, bro, why didn't you call me? I would just send Cody with another bin. I own the fucking bin company. I need to overload the bin.
Nobody gets bins cheaper than me. I own the bin company.
I own the truck. I own the bin. I fucking pay the driver. It's all mine. I don't need you to fucking overload bins. There's nothing to accomplish here except cause shit.
I vertically integrated this company so I can give you as many bins as you want.
Like, we have a lot of them sitting in our yard this year. There's a fucking plethora of them. There's not a shortage of bins in our yard this year. Like, anyways, it just amazes me that all the equipment, it doesn't matter what it is. You drive by job sites and guys are like pounding away on with some fucking shovel on the fucking concrete trying to break it. And I'm like, okay, like that 4-ton was $100,000 now, or whatever they are, $89,000.
That's why I have a hard time buying anything used from someone. I rarely buy used equipment. This past week, we did a job. This was like a $2,200 topsoil job, right? Spread some topsoil on top of someone's septic bed because it was dying, like it was drying out, dying, and all this stuff, right? So I sent Shane and Gord. I said, okay, well, take the 8-ton because it's already on the float and put a load of topsoil in the tandem. Go out and do this job real quick. Get there, do the job, everything. Probably the 8-ton is probably overkill, but it got the job done, right? Client calls me up and says, oh, you did a great job. He's like, that's a really sweet machine you have. What is that, like 70, 80 grand? I'm like, the shovel? He's like, yeah. He goes, I told him that costs $200,000 for that shovel with the tilt rotator on it. He's like, holy cow, no way. I'm like, yeah, and I just sent it out to do a $2,000 topsoil job?
Yeah.
You know?
Because I'm insane.
Yeah, because I'm nuts. Like, you could not vertically, what is it called? Vertically integrate?
Vertical integration.
Vertical integrate that job any more than what I did to make money. We own everything there.
You screen the soil yourself.
The topsoil myself. Yeah. That's the only reason we made money on that job is because I screened the topsoil myself. After all that, like, I'm insane.
The question is, could you have gotten more for the job?
Oh, I think there's a ceiling on how much does someone value putting a little bit of topsoil on their lawn, spreading 15 yards of soil. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they value it more than $2,200 worth, but
I think $2,200 you did pretty good, to be honest.
That's what I like.
I was just throwing it out. I was just throwing it out there. I think that was a pretty good price for spreading 15 yards of soil.
I don't think there's much more room in it because the next step was, I could do it with my little Kubota tractor. If you want to bring a load of soil out.
The argument would be that you could have sent an MT to do it. You didn't need to send a $200,000 shovel. You could have sent an MT.
Yeah.
Although, would it have taken longer?
Probably it would have taken longer. I was,
and the shovel was already loaded, so you would have blown the wages.
Yeah, would have blown the wages. That's $600 a day in wages.
Would the 4-ton for $100,000 with a tilt rotator on it would have been the right move? It wouldn't have been because it has a steel
$30,000. Yeah.
Well, it would have been the wrong move because it wasn't a grib.
That's it. Grib's sending me some sweaters this week.
Nice. What does grib mean?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a name, it's an acronym for something or not, but I guess I should know that, eh? They haven't given me the course.
I think it's a fair point.
I think it's a fair point. Like, what am I hawking here? I don't know.
Well, NCon is clearly a name.
Yeah.
Rototilt is clearly a name. Steel Rest is clearly a name. Linglong is clearly a name.
Why is Linglong a name?
Well, because it's obviously someone's name. Mr. Linglong developed the Linglong.
Mr. Linglong. What? does grip mean?
Are you sending it to someone from Grib?
No, I'm what does grip stand for? It doesn't say. I'm gonna have to ask someone from the company.
You don't have someone on speed dial to answer every Grib related question you have?
No, no. Like I say, I rarely speak to my handlers. There. This is the first email communication I've got in 3 weeks.
We're sending you some.
So we're sending you some shirts. What's your size?
Did you? So I got the free high vis swag.
You got it?
I did.
It came already.
Well, I
Wow.
didn't get. No, I didn't get it yet. No, I didn't get it yet. I
Oh, I
got
was.
the DM,
You guys both
and
got it.
Yeah.
so basically,
Wow.
I don't know if they were listening to the podcast or I don't know why, but the force field DM'd me and said, "Hey, remember 5 years ago when we asked you if you wanted some stuff? We're revisiting this conversation now." I was like, "Oh, I'm more into this now than I was 5 years ago." So I said, "Sure, send me some stuff." Mostly because I was jealous of Chad's stuff.
Now we're
I said,
both
"Do you have
getting
any
stuff.
big triple X vests with pockets?" I
Ah,
don't love the vest that I have because it has this like it's one of those tearaway ones, which I know is legal and stops you from getting sucked into a chipper. But then where the Velcro attaches at the top, it comes loose and the hard Velcro rubs on your neck. And by the end of the day, I'm like, man, I wish I was getting sucked into a chipper. Like I fucking hate this Velcro rubbing on my neck. And I would rather be in a chipper right now than deal with this anymore. So that's why I was like, do you have any vests that are like triple XL that don't tear away? So that like I would I don't go near chippers. Like I'm not near them often. I've almost been sucked into a chipper once, and it was by my vest. So, and I managed to get my hand at the last second on the brake and stop the chipper from sucking me in.
Jeez.
That was scary because I was by myself and I got caught up in the branches and I was getting sucked in. I was like, ah! And then the
this is
other
the
guy came
end.
right. The other guy I was with came running on the car. Holy shit! You almost got sucked in the chipper. I'm like, yeah, it would have sucked. That would have been terrible. Not as bad as having this piece of Velcro that rubs on your neck all fucking day long. That's tougher. At the end of some days, I'm just like, man, suck me into a chipper. Fuck this tearaway vest. So we'll see what force field sends me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
pump it hard. I believe that force field could. I think that's the name of it. Maybe I should check.
Do you think they could be a sponsor for all of us
We
for
should
the podcast?
get them to send us to H&A with some high vis. High vis,
Are they
not our
Canadian?
finest hour branded.
I'd be okay with that. Did they send mine yet?
What are they sending you guys? Just a package?
I just said send me whatever you want. I'm not going to be picky.
I can look it up and see what they said to me. It's well, I think they said that. So I have this video of me chaining down equipment that's at like 2.3 million views now. Every time I log on to Instagram, it shows like 100 likes, which is like the max, I guess.
Hmm.
It's crazy.
I listened to an interview recently of the head of Instagram. It was really good. It was interesting. You can actually go into your account, go to the settings, and then type in status, and you can see if they are actively recommending your content.
Really? Where do you do that?
A lot of people are about to be real disappointed.
So you go to the your profile, then top right, 3 bars.
Three
And
bars.
then-
I'm on the 3 bars, Mike. Into
And then the
search.
search status. Go to account status, and then you get 4 check marks, hopefully. And then it's the second one. What can't be recommended? And then it'll tell you if your account's being recommended or not. And
So I have removed content check mark.
yeah, that's good. They should
Your
all be check
content-
marks.
So your content may be eligible for recommendation. Your
That's good.
content may be suggested. Oh, nice. Let's see what happens with monetization. You're currently following all policies and guidelines related to monetization tools. I guess I could monetate. I'm gonna. So I know what I've noticed lately with Instagram, the whole like get behind my whatever force field wall or what were we calling that? That seems to be out of
Firewall?
style now. Firewall. Yeah, get behind my firewall.
Oh, the
So
subscriptions?
yeah, that's what subscription wall. So force field said, "Hey, can we send you some stuff, high vis or flannels or gloves? Let me know. Um, let me know you're shipping Addy, Addy, I
Addy.
like that. Shipping
Wow.
Addy. That's kind of slick. Checking back in for in 4 years on. Haha, cheers. So yeah, this guy messaged me in 2020.
Are you sure it was a guy? Because I had
I
a
guess
girl.
woman. Oh, it could be a
Yeah.
woman then.
Her name is
Yeah.
Erica.
I don't ask people's names. I
I
won't
didn't
know.
either, but I said, "Hey, man or woman," and she said, "I'm a woman." Great. Thanks, Erica.
So it says sure. Now this is my assumption here, and this is wrong of me. But I said, sure, sounds good. And I sent my address because I felt like 4 years was enough time to think about whether or not I wanted high vis clothing. Decided I did after 4 years of constantly mulling it over in my mind. And then it says, yeah, buddy, will do. And I think the yeah, buddy is what made me feel like this was a guy. I haven't
Maybe
incurred that
they're,
many women that say, yeah, buddy.
It's true.
Is it a different account? It's called forcefield.canada.
yeah, that's the same one.
I just followed them.
Can you say,
I'm
hey,
gonna
you
give
gave
them a
Mike in chat?
nudge. Yeah. Hey, how about some free gear?
What's going on?
Hey, you
And
could
then I
say
said,
you could outfit your entire company, Mike.
Yeah.
You could
can you
outfit the
outfit
entire
my whole
company with one shirt.
It sounds like if they messaged you in 2020, things got busy, they didn't need to market, and now all of a sudden things are slowing down, and now they do need to market, so they're revisiting this,
I think that
sending
they
people stuff.
sent it to Chad and then heard the kerfluffle on the podcast. Was there a kerfluffle about that? Maybe not.
No.
And then they reached out to me. They knew that
They were
they
going
could,
for the low-hanging fruit with me, and then they reached up to you.
who had 20 years to mull it over, or
Maybe they
four
listened to the
years.
podcast and they heard that I don't accept free stuff, so they didn't even. Let's go with that. Yeah, they heard that, and
That's
so that's
probably
why they're
what
not reaching
happened.
out to me. It's got to be the reason why.
That's more than likely what happened. So we're going to run out of work in 3 weeks. Basically, that's where
Yep.
we're at. We're going to run out of work in 3 weeks. I have a shit ton of leads, so much good stuff that's coming down the pipe. We're bidding a lot of great projects, but having no work in 3 weeks puts it at July 1st. And that makes me nervous because finding work in July and August is generally shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's on, even if it's commercial, residential, everyone's on holidays. No one wants to answer any emails. I just think it's generally, honestly, usually pretty shit. So we have a job that we're bidding, and basically they gave us the number to close it. And that's how I feel. We have 3 jobs we're bidding. 2 of them I probably want. 1 of them I don't. Well, it's not that I don't want it. It's just it's not stimulating me because it's far. I mean, far. But that's the one we have the best opportunity, except we have to drop quite a bit off.
You're
To get
giving
the
them an
job.
instant rebate.
We're giving them an instant $1,000. I
A
should message
cashback?
them and be like, "Hey, can I give them 1,000?" Lionscape says if I give $1,000 cash rebate, that I'll get this job.
How does that work out for your books to
I
get
don't know.
$1,000 cash back? My bookkeeper would fucking slap me. Like, what do you mean you're giving cash back to clients? Are you nuts?
I think it's just a rebate off the bill.
Yeah, I
Or
think
you
it's
think
just a
he's?
discount.
It says
I would think.
$1,000 cash. It does say $1,000 cash rebate.
Oh, really?
So maybe he wants people to pay him, and then they want some cash, but they don't want to pull it out of their bank because they're scared of the government. So he's going to produce the cash for them. It's kind of like washing your money at Walmart, I guess. Yeah, like
Mhm. Asking
I
for
don't know.
cash back when you pay with debit.
Yeah, maybe that's he's running a debit machine. Like he's
I,
here, run your card through. I'll give you cash back, like Walmart. It seemed like a weird promotion to me.
Yeah, I've never
I
understood discounts, let alone rebates. I've never heard that before.
In general, we take our best shot from the beginning. Unless your
I
job is shit and we don't
I
want it.
I heard somebody say when they're asked for a discount. So for example, if they say $10,000 and they ask for, well, can you do it for 7,500? They say, well, how about 15,000? And then the person gets the point and then says, okay, we can do it for 10. And this person says they have a good closing rate on that.
um,
I just can't remember
I
who
would
it was right
appreciate
now.
that. I think
I
that
went
that's not bad.
I went to a few this week, and I started. We haven't been closing, and I started reverse engineering my prices and stuff, and putting a square foot price back on stuff. And I'm like, I'm not closing at $25 a square foot. Like, things are not going well over here.
Wow, 25.
At 25, I'm like, people are like, that's nuts. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna just turn the key on every machine off and park it in for the winter. That's enough of that. I will sit at home and do fucking nothing for any less money. It will be a better use of my time. So,
I
and yeah,
Yeah. When I first started in an industry, people were saying $25 a square foot.
my city is like 10 years behind everybody. So
Okay.
that's uh that's an average rate around here.
But I know people that still charge $25 a square foot.
oh yeah. And then give $1,000 rebate.
Cash?
Gosh. Like
Cash.
Walmart debit return.
Jesus.
So if we were to discount this job as much as when we reviewed it, Jack and I were reviewing the job, and truthfully, I think there was some fluff in there. And then we had a deeper look at it. Even like this is a substantial reduction. Um, even when we were reducing it's not going to necessarily be everything we want, like we would normally want, but it's going to be 8/10 of what we want, and it's going to push the guys through the summer and get to September.
I'd take that deal all day.
And so that's like there's 5 field staff that work for us that are dependent on going to work every day and paying their bills. And I feel like morally, not business wise, to turn down a job that's still profitable because it's not all the profit I want to make and have to risk those guys' livelihoods, morally, that's not right. So the numbers still work. They just don't work at where we would normally want them to be. But they still work. We're still making profit. We're still recovering our overhead. We're still doing all those things. It's just not where we would want it to be. But perhaps this is the season where nothing is where I didn't want 5 trucks to break down on Friday. 5 trucks. 5 trucks. First truck blew the slack adjusters. That was Glenn's. That's a broker truck. Then Tony's truck, the other broker, grenaded the oil cooler line. Then Christie's truck, some brake valve grenaded and locked the brakes on one side of the truck. Then Don's truck, the PTO came off the side of the tranny and belched fluid all over the truck and put the tranny into neutral because the torque converter couldn't make any pressure. Luckily, Don got the truck shut off in time, so we didn't fry the $30,000 fucking tranny. Go, Don. And then Tony, because he's an ambitious person, went and got his brother's truck that we use all the time, Naz, and on the second load, the hoist let go. That all happened in one fucking day.
So you're probably talking about 100, 120 grand in problems between all these trucks.
No, Christie's truck, the brake problem, Brad fixed in. I bet we're $500 to fix that problem. Don's tranny, it was $500 to tow the truck because I was not willing to risk. I wasn't willing to risk the tranny, so I had it towed. So it's been the tow was probably $500 plus whatever this repair is. It's going into its third day tomorrow. So they had to reseal there was a leaking line. One of the lines was leaking. So I said, replace it. Well, you already got the thing fucking ripped apart. They had to reseal the PTO onto the side of the tranny because whatever, all the bolts vibrated out of it or something. And then they asked me if I wanted to do the tranny service, and the truck was only 10,000 kilometers away from the tranny service. So I said, just fucking do it. It's already ripped apart. It's already fucked. You've already pulled the whole thing apart. Like, I don't want to put it down for another day to service the tranny. Let's just service it now. So I bet all in, we're going to be 3K. I bet with that. Plus it missed 3 days work, which is another 4,500.
All of these problems, and the most that truck will make an hour is $125.
Some of the guys
Off
up
the
north
top.
are getting a $130, $140, but yeah, let's say $125.
Wow. So to recoup just the problems, you're
that truck's
a lot
new.
of time in. Yeah. Yeah.
But Brad's cottage fund is looking good.
Brad's cottage fund is looking good. Yeah. That makes me happy though. Brad's a good person who does great work and helps us constantly. If someone was going to have a good life because our trucks break down all the time, I'm happy that it's Brad. That makes me happy. You know, he's helps us with everything all the time. So I don't ever mind paying Brad. That doesn't bother me at all. The downtime the trucks suffer, that drives me fucking nuts because that's hard. I understand things break, and I'm thrilled that he's there to fix stuff for us. Today, I was pulling into Arnt's to dump some concrete, and I put the engine brake on in the truck, and I thought, well, that doesn't sound good. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. That's weird. So I dumped the concrete. I got out of the truck, and I looked, and the flexible exhaust pipe on the truck had cracked in half on the little bin truck. So I drove her home. It was loud. And I think there was a lot of exhaust in the cab, which I'm pretty sure is making me kind of drowsy right now. Might have inhaled a bit too much carbon monoxide today. But I pulled in and Paul, the fabricator, was there. And Don was there waiting because we thought his truck was supposed to be able to get fixed. So I was going to go get him and I was going to take him up to get his truck. But it ended up not being fixed because there's also a wiring problem with some speed sensor on the tranny. So they're fixing that too. But Paul was there and I was like, Paul, fix this now. So Paul fixed Don went and got him the flexible pipe, so to buy a flexible exhaust pipe, you can either buy it in a 36-inch increment or a 10-foot increment. That seems extreme to me. Couldn't we have gone like 36, 6, 9? Like,
But-
why do we got to go from 36 to 10? It seems extreme.
So it's real bad if you need like 38 inches on your truck. Then you have to buy the 10-foot.
We needed 42.
Oh, well, that's equally as bad.
I'm not saying, well, that's what Dawn came back and said they had 36 or 10. I thought we could maybe buy two 36s and join it together, but then I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy the 10. I was like, that's what Paver King deserves, Don. We deserve to need 42 inches of a pipe that only comes in 36-inch increments. Or 10 feet.
Now you have one for the next time, though, a spare.
That's true.
Yep.
There's enough on it left to build the spare.
Yeah. Build the spare. Let it ride in the cab with you. You'll blow it.
I also think, though, it's potentially the only truck we have with a 4-inch exhaust. I think the other ones are 5. So
great.
We'll have to hope
that's what Paver King deserves.
That's what we deserve, is to keep just over 6 feet of stainless steel 4-inch exhaust pipe in our C can. That's what we deserve, baby. Right there.
You want to know what my guys did today?
Yeah.
Yesterday, this job calls for an aluminum retaining edge to separate the flower bed from the topsoil and hydroseed portion, right? So you've all seen this. It's just like a flat stock of aluminum with the holes in it. You go and ram a nail that for some reason doesn't fit in the fucking hole.
And never lines up and catches the top lip and
yeah. So that, right? We have 2 pieces left over in black at the yard. The guys went yesterday. Oh, we don't have enough. They go to the retailer. Big fiasco. No one knew what this stuff was. Found it. They had 10 pieces left or whatever, but they were silver. I told the guys earlier in the day, if they don't match, paint them. Fine, right? So they bought the silver ones, which is more than enough to do the whole job with just the silver. And they bought some black paint, and they painted them all black. And we didn't need to use the black ones because they bought enough silver to do the whole job. So they painted these fucking things for nothing, spent $40 on Tremclad, and as soon as they started putting them in, the paint was coming off.
Oh no.
I'm like, guys, why didn't
spray paint them after they're installed?
Yeah, that's it, right? I'm like, guys, why didn't you just put in the silver stuff and forget the 2 that we had? It would have been cheaper than painting all these things. They said, no, it came up to about the same. We did the math. Like, but you didn't put in the labor and the time to paint them and everything. They're like, well, it only took a couple minutes. Like, Jesus Christ. Just leave it be. Just don't argue about this one. Just put in the edging now.
They did what you asked.
They did, yeah, in a roundabout fashion. And isn't that what business owning is? The guys have to find a way to do it with their own brain power, but sometimes it's not your brain power, and you just have to let it be. Because I don't know what more guidance I could have given them. But
do you ever think, when something like that happens, you say, as much as it's annoying and you want to break it down, do you just say to yourself, this isn't the battle for me today?
Oh yeah, I didn't go off on them. I didn't.
Just gonna walk away from this.
Yeah.
In the end, what I said, buy some and paint them black. It's what they did, and maybe I didn't do a good enough job saying, hey, if there's enough silver, just do it in silver. I find myself now, when I'm typing things into our Team Connect app, over explaining things like that. Hey, if there's enough silver, just do the silver. If there isn't enough silver and we need to combine it with the black, paint the black, silver black, and do it together. Like, I break down every scenario and try to make it so that
I try, but you have to think these guys have their own brains too. They should be able to work this out.
They did.
They
They did the
did.
math even.
They did
Do you
the
think
math.
there's more than one way to skin a cat, and your way's not necessarily right? They just did it a different way.
They definitely did it a different way. I'm not saying my idea is right, but I think I
I
could
think
have got
it's
it
right.
done
I think if we
faster.
were taking a vote amongst rational people, your idea would win. Just putting it out there. Just- I think your idea is right in this regard.
Yeah, but did they get it done? Yes, they got the job done. Um, how much can you scold people for getting the job done in the end? They got
In
what done.
2024, not much.
Well, these are hardened workers. They're not soft guys, right? Like I can leave them to, if I need a job done, I can send them. They'll do the job. Maybe didn't know it needed this much explanation, but they can get it done. They're the same ones that went out and did that $2,000 topsoil job without problem there. So, I mean, maybe the more I run a business, the more I think as long as it gets done, I'm not going to go back and pick at it, at how they did it. Unless I can expedite the process by a lot for the next time.
I think if you don't accept that people are going to get things done and it's not going to be exactly the way you want, but it's done, you're going to struggle with your life if you don't accept that and you want to run a business. Because you can go nuts screaming and yelling at people nonstop to do it exactly the way you would do it, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
We have a place where we park trailers at the yard. I like trailers to be 8 inches apart and straight. That's how I like them. It
Yeah.
does.
All the trucks same distance apart and straight. Yeah.
That's how I like them. I like to come into the yard. I like to look at them. All our bins are in this like angled row now. I like to see, well, I don't like to see the bins at the yard, but when the bins are at the yard, I like to see them all in an evenly spaced angled row. But the trailers in particular, I'll come back to the yard and there'll be 3 trailers 8 inches apart in a straight row, and then one on a crazy weird angle. That's like tucked in a corner. I'll think to myself, it would never occur to me to do that. In my whole life, I've never looked at a row of trailers that are all 8 inches apart and thought, I'm going to back in on this crazy angle over here and leave this trailer 45 to all the other trailers.
Yeah.
It's in my whole life. I've never looked at a situation and thought, this is a good idea. But obviously, my brain is not as abstract. I like straight lines. I enjoy straight lines as a person. I do not enjoy curves. I don't like them. Plus, I don't like cutting. So maybe that's part of my hatred of curbs. But it doesn't. So I put it's almost a daily, but definitely a weekly reminder. Please keep trailers straight.
You do that on your app? Send out an announcement?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you still have to tell them where to park?
No. The parking got sorted out. Parking got sorted. Everyone seems to have gotten into a groove with the parking. I put tasks down in our app. Maybe I can pull up tomorrow's. I feel like this is something that might interest. Okay, I'm gonna pull up this day of work for tomorrow. This is something that happened that I was going to talk about anyways. So this is what I have written down. Bill, yard, 6:30 a.m., truck 31, large dump trailer, Pick up 2 Maya slabs at Arndt's. Arndt's invoice number. I gave the number 120006373. If someone wants to try to get some free Maya slabs after listening to this, install on the X's sprayed by the homeowner. Pick up 1 Honeycrisp apple tree, 1 Ambrosia apple tree, Vandermeer Nursery, 588 Lake Ridge Road South, Ajax. Text Mike when headed to site. Take Bobcat Forks to Omimi and drop off. So that's what Bill's doing tomorrow. This is the tasks I have written down. Load, shovel, rake, and wheelbarrow. Pick up Maya slabs. Take a skid from the yard to put them on. Pick up apple trees. Text Mike when headed to site. Load skid steer forks in barn on trailer and take to Omimi. So that's what I have. Like, that's where I'm at with instructions in the app. Like, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that's normal, or
Yeah,
am
I think
am I overdoing it? Is it
no. How many phone calls do you get during that list, though?
From
of
Bill?
Questions, yeah.
From Bill?
Yeah.
Uh,
Because that'll tell you how thorough you are with the guy, or whether he needs more. Like, not everybody needs a list like that. Some people need a list that's half that, and some people need 3 times as much information as you're giving.
That list, the way that information is portrayed on there, is definitely tailored to Bill. I've known Bill a long time. My expectation is that he's going to call me and ask me where to plant the apple trees, because I didn't list that specifically, and I also don't specifically know where to plant the apple trees. So my hope is so here's something that happened to me just out of interest sake. We complete a residential job. It's finished. We invoice. We were there for 8 days. We should have been there for 3 or 4. So we were there for an extended period of time. Interaction with the person we're working for. Interaction with the person who owns the house. In that whole time, in that 8 days, and 8 days works out to, let's just for interest sake on this, 8 days times 24. So in 192 hours that our equipment and people were on site in varying degrees, no one thought to bring up that on the first delivery of HPB, our truck crushed a couple apple trees. So we invoice. This is a client that normally pays us immediately. Now, mind you, this is the biggest invoice we've ever sent to this client. We invoice. Bill goes unpaid for 2 or 3 days, which is fine. Like, whatever. People got shit going on. It is a residential project, though, so your expectation is to be paid fairly quickly, right? Like, that's the whole point of the only reason I would even consider doing residential work. And then on Friday night at 8:00 at night, I get some pictures of some guy, I'm assuming the homeowner that I never met, holding onto some apple trees. And they say, hey, when they brought the bricks, they ran over these apple trees. Or when they got their delivery, they ran over these apple trees. So I call the person that was on that site working for us and say, hey, it's Cody that delivered the stuff. I'm like, did Cody run over these apple trees when she delivered the HPV? Guy's like, no, I've never seen those apple trees before in my life. So, okay. So then I text the guy we're working for back and said, do you have any video of us crushing these apple trees? Instead of interest sake. I don't have any on me, but I'll see if someone else from the site does. So great. That'd be awesome. Then the conversation kind of dies down. And then the next text says, we need 1 Honeycrisp apple tree and 1 Ambrosia apple tree. Okay, I still don't think we've established that I ran over the apple trees, but we've definitely established that I'm paying for the new apple trees. Like, that's getting established here pretty quickly. So I messaged everyone that was ever on the site, and there's a discrepancy that perhaps the Arntz truck was the one that crushed the apple trees on the delivery. But the Arntz truck was a Moffat truck. So pretty sure that the Arntz truck that was out on the main fucking road did not run over the apple trees. There was also a ton of other contractors on this job site. And they were all parking their cars randomly everywhere. And these apple trees were tiny. I feel like tomorrow I might post the pictures of the ridiculous crushed apple trees on the. Even better, this house is located next to an apple tree farm. If you need some apples, instead of getting them from the two shit ass trees in your yard, walk across the dirt path and pull some apples out of the field. I don't think the farmer gives a fuck about the amount of apples that you would eat. Of course, maybe those apples aren't Honeycrisps. Maybe they're not Ambrosias. I don't know.
If you could run over the trees and if you could run over the trees and not know that you ran them over, they are not going to be giving you apples for a long time.
I'm fairly confident Cody did not run over the apple trees. I don't, because even where she dumped, you could see where she like cut off the road and then backed in and dumped and then pulled out. Not near the apple trees. None of us ever had any reason to go near the apple trees.
Are you more pissed that someone ran over the apple trees or that they notified you at 8 o'clock on a Friday? Because that would burn my arse more than anything.
So these people owe us 5 figures for this job. I don't give a fuck about two $14 apple trees. I would have rather if you text me Saturday morning and said, hey, can you throw replacing these 2 apple trees in? They got crushed. We don't know how to do it. Can you just throw it in as a favor? I would have said, yeah, no problem, man. I'll go get your apple trees and I'll throw them in. I don't give a shit. But to make this about almost like you're not paying me because these apple trees got crushed, it made me think twice about, am I ever going to do work for this person again? Or am I just going to tell this person you can go fucking suck a dick? I actually scheduled a job with this person on Friday that I have probably no way of doing, and I'm just going to bail on it. Fuck you and your apple trees. Pay me. And you're right, not because of the apple trees at all. It's because you contacted me about this Friday night at 8 o'clock and then made some like weird accusation when all you had to say is, hey, a couple apple trees got crushed on site. You mind throwing in a couple for me? When you come back to do the 2 Maya slabs are definitely, we were supposed to put in 27 and 25 fit the space. So we took 2 back because 27 would have looked really weird and you wouldn't have had the right stepping distance, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they would have been too close together. So you would have been walking in the middle of them. But legit, the contract said 27. So you want to spray a couple X's? I'll come back and do it because that's what it said. No problem. And I would have just replaced the apple trees. Like I wouldn't have cared. This whole contention that like we crushed these apple trees. Like, okay, well, first of all, in 8 days on site, no, this supposedly happened within minutes of us arriving. So in 8 days on site, no one brought up the crushed apple trees. Like no one cared about these fucking apple trees for 8 days until it came due to time to pay the bills. And then the apple trees became irrelevant. I don't know. I don't like that. That kind of stuff bothers me. Maybe it shouldn't.
There's no bigger way to piss off a contractor than sending them a message after 5 o'clock on a Friday for something that they cannot fix all weekend.
I guess I could have gone and bought the apple trees anytime. Yeah. I just didn't really care that much, and it worked into my schedule to replace the apple trees tomorrow. What would you guys just to replace? Like these are, I don't know what apple trees cost.
I would have no problem replacing them, but it burns my arse that I was being accused for something that.
Yeah,
I very well could have done it. I wasn't there all 192 hours, so I honestly can't say whether we backed over the apple trees or not. but just saying, hey, someone backed over these apple trees. Do you mind throwing a couple in when you come back to do the Maya slabs? You shorted the client. Because that's what I did. Because, I had 27 there. I put in 25 that made sense. Obviously, I was trying to fuck someone out of two $25 slabs. That was obviously my goal, to return them minus 25% and score a huge $38 or whatever it was. I would have just replaced. I don't like. I felt like I don't know. I would have just replaced them anyways. I would have done it as a favor. So whatever, man. Sure. I'll replace your apple trees. No fucking problem. But yeah, I don't know. I the certainty with which we crushed the apple trees. We weren't certain about it 8 days ago. We weren't certain about it when it happened. We're only certain about it when you owe me money. That's when we're certain about these fucking apple trees, motherfucker. We weren't certain about it previous to that. But as soon as you owe me money, we are certain that Paver can crush these fucking apple trees.
You should equip all your employees with GoPros on their heads.
Yeah.
Film everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we built a water trailer in the Princess Auto
I saw
parking
that
lot.
video.
We filmed that. Bill is a superstar. Bill is the
he seems like
superstar of those videos. He absolutely is. Did you watch all that video?
I watched the whole thing of the water.
Yes, you saw the part where he just started blabbing about the fucking shit at the gym and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and talking about the cashier and how many times he's gone in and
Yeah. We did successfully build the water trailer though, me and Bill. Well, I know what was an interesting experience. So I was trying to build it on Saturday. All that was left to build the water trailer was to build a like a 2-inch hose, so that if we do sod, we could spray down the sod faster than a garden hose, right? So I go into Princess Auto and they have a 2-inch hose. Perfect. Then they have 2-inch connectors that you can put in the hose that then have a threaded end on it, so you could thread the nozzle onto the 2-inch connector and make like a fireman's hose, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I look around Princess Auto. They have one nozzle. It's a brass nozzle. The threads on the brass nozzle that they sell at now, there's like 25 of them on the wall, these nozzles. I'm like, man, I guess nozzles aren't that popular. They took the nozzle over to the 2-inch section of hose things, and the nozzle is 1 3/4 threads. And everything at Princess Auto is either 1-inch or 2-inch. So the reason that there's like 40 nozzles on the wall is there's nothing in the place that works with the fucking nozzles. And I look at the person who works there and said, I feel that I know you're not responsible for this, because if you're here stocking the shelf, you probably didn't choose what goes on the shelf, or you didn't purchase it from China and have it shipped here for me to buy. And they said, that's true. I don't ever have anything to do with the Chinese purchasing at Princess Auto. So, okay. So can you tell me why you have a nozzle with 1 3/4 threads and everything else is 2 inches? And they said, yeah, that nozzle's not very popular. Okay. So standing in Princess Auto, really wanting to finish the water trailer, I thought, I'll Google Home Depot that's right by Princess Auto. Maybe they sell 2-inch nozzles. So when I Googled Home Depot and 2-inch spray nozzles, the first thing that came up was Amazon, 2-inch spray nozzle, both attachments, delivered to your house for $48 in 12 hours. And I hit buy, and I left the store. I'm like, I'm in your store trying to buy stuff, and you can't even stock things that work together. And that's why Jeff Bezos is so fucking rich. Because I found it in 4 seconds on the internet, and it was at my house in 12 hours.
Yeah. How to do it.
The whole time I spent an hour trying to make this nozzle work, because I'm just obsessive and compulsive. And I was like, there's no way that Princess Auto stocks this nozzle and you can't get it to work on a 2-inch hose. You'd have to be an utter moron to stock a nozzle that you don't sell anything else for So I went through every attachment in the water pump section in Princess. I could not get this nozzle onto this 2-inch hose. And then I gave up and ordered it from Amazon, which I should have fucking just done from the start while I was watching Criminal Minds on Saturday afternoon instead of leaving my house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck you, Princess Auto. You won't be our sponsor either.
The short list we have of potential sponsors.
Who is a potential sponsor for us?
I don't know. It's a good question.